I've got a pretty large property and don't mind the neighbor's cat hanging out chasing mice and other things, but it's constantly walking right up to me and bringing me dead things when I'm outside. I don't feed the cat and barely pay any attention to it except when it rubs up against me and purrs. I'll give it a quick pat and move on to whatever I was doing, gardening, etc. Otherwise, I basically ignore it. Anyways, the frequency of dead things plopped at my feet has gotten to almost every day. I don't want to be mean and scare it or anything. It's welcome to relax or prowl the yard, but it's a long walk from one end of the yard to my trash cans to dispose of the things it brings, and it's getting old really fast. Now for a few comments. Prestigious Beach 190. Many cats prefer to be left alone unless they specifically ask for attention. So you've probably been the perfect friend for this cat. Bringing you dead prey demonstrates that the cat loves you and is taking care of you by bringing you food. Stopping that will likely be difficult. The cat will probably continue to feed you for as long as he or she loves you. So unless you can find a way to keep the cat off your property or make him or her stop loving you, there's no real solution to your predicament. Dependent name 7952. Yeah, I found it hilarious to learn that cats bring you food because they never see you hunt, so they assume you can't feed yourself. It's such a pure form of love. Probably the problem. Obviously, the solution is to demonstrate one's hunting prowess. No Elderberry 86, you are playing hard to get. She will eventually bring you a cow. Now for the one-day update. In a nutshell, the neighbor's cat keeps bringing me dead things almost daily. I don't hate cats, but cats are just not my jam. Sorry, sub, no offense. If cats are around, cool. No big deal. I'm an animal lover. I have no issues with the cat itself. It's welcomed in my yard to do as it pleases, and I practically ignore it unless it goes out of its way to come up to me. I'll give it a quick pat or scritch and move on to the many things I have to do in my yard. I forgot to mention the actual issue is not that it brings me dead things, but the dead things it has brought me, and I didn't find right away. Attract ants. Where I'm at, ants can pop up out of nowhere in the hundreds or more if dead things are not disposed of quickly. This summer, I've been at war with ants, and they are such a pain to deal with, especially if they're swarming the dead things left by the cat. Then lugging the dead thing way over to the trash cans is also a huge pain. I've been working hard to get the yard landscaped the way I want it. I've planted specific flowers to attract birds, butterflies, small wildlife. It's gotten close to looking like a little sanctuary. It requires a ton of maintenance as I clean daily, any seeds not eaten in the feeders, mowing, trimming, etc. The cat walking around in the yard is no issue for me, as it seems not to bother any of the small wildlife, except for mice, and seems to enjoy the yard versus its owner's yard for some reason. It's an older cat, and I don't think it's right to spray it with a water bottle or try to scare it or be mean to it, as some suggested here. That's just not an option for me. I called my vet to get their advice, and he said to soak cotton balls 1-1 with food-grade vinegar and water and lightly dab my wrists, neck, ankles, shoes, etc. The vet said the vinegar is totally safe for the cat, but cats don't like the vinegar and will associate the scent with me, and in theory should stop approaching me and will likely give up trying to give me dead things. The vet said it might be a good idea to actually lure the cat to me with a simple treat to make sure it approaches me, smell me, dislike it, and leave. So one quick stop at the market for the vinegar, cotton balls, cat treats, and dabbing myself all over like my vet advised, and I'm good to go. Voila. Problem solved, right? Nope. 1. My beloved dog wouldn't even come up to me the entire rest of the day. 2. My wife said I stunk and demanded I shower. I told her I still had a lot of chores outside in the yard, and she said I can't step into the house until I showered. I told her I would shower after my chores. 3. The cat showed up as usual and brought me another dead thing, partial grasshopper this time, and I did what the vet said and gave it the cat treat. It not only approached me and didn't flinch at all at my smell, but went crazy purring and rubbing up against me after I gave it the treat. Like purring so hard I could feel the reverberations when it rubbed against my pant leg. Unusually, the damn cat followed me around most of the day and kept interfering with what I was doing, pruning, sweeping, etc. running in front of me while I'm carrying things to the wheelbarrow, zipping between my legs, laying down right where I'm about to trim. I'd gently move him, and the little bastard kept coming back. I'd make sure I'd hold out my wrists for it to smell, and that did jack shoot. Cat didn't even care or seem to notice the vinegar smell. Number 4, I did a lot of work in the yard, but still had more to do. So I was going to go take a quick nap on the couch and then get back to the yard, but my wife wouldn't have any of it and kicked me out. She told me to go nap near the pool in the nice shaded area I had set up with lawn furniture and a hammock. Didn't want to argue with the boss, so I went to the hammock. Took a nice nap, only to wake up to find the freaking cat sleeping on my chest purring, but right in my face. I gently let it down on the ground so I could get back to my yard work, and right there under the hammock, another dead thing the cat left for me, covered in hundreds of ants. FML. I give up. Now for a few comments. Feline shenanigans. I know you are frustrated, but this is hilarious. Kitty has decided that you are theirs to care for. Since Cat is older, it sounds like Kitty might be losing their sense of smell, or is one of those rare cats that loves vinegar. My furry bastard is one of those. I'm curious how the cat reacts to your wife. If they aren't impressed, it might be worth getting permission from her to borrow her shampoo, body wash, deodorant, etc. for a few days to see if smelling more like another human has an impact. Might also be worth asking some gardening subs for advice on how to step up your anticide. Or possibly consider accepting that the neighborhood granny cat has decided that you aren't eating properly and they need to feed you. Lissa 3 neighborhood granny cat. I love this so much. Yuli 4 and V. I don't mean to make light of your issue, but this is really funny. That cat actually freaking loves you. To me, that says you're all right. My suggestion would be get a shallow box and put it somewhere in the yard that is away from your house and start putting the cat's gifts in the box for a day. The idea being that you're trying to train the cat to put the dead stuff in the box for you. I don't know if you're ever going to lose that cat's affections, but you may be able to convince him to work with you a little. Batman is my waifu. That cat is bringing you gifts. Cats usually bring their owners their unalive as a gift. I'm not sure why it's bringing them to you, unless the previous owners of your house were close with that cat. Best thing to do is keep a lookout for the unalive and clean it up ASAP. Alright, let's get started with the post. I have a friend who has been struggling with anxiety and depression for a while now. She recently confided in me that she feels overwhelmed with work and personal responsibilities. She mentioned that she feels like she's drowning and doesn't know how to ask for help. I've tried to be there for her as much as I can, but I'm not sure what else I can do to support her. Any advice? Now for a few important comments. One commenter suggested, encourage her to seek professional help. Sometimes talking to a therapist can make a huge difference. Then another commenter added, make sure she knows you're there for her, but also remind her to take time for herself. Self-care is crucial. OP replied, thank you for the suggestions. I'll definitely encourage her to see a therapist and remind her about self-care. That's the revised script ready to be read aloud. Am I the idiot for firing my sister for spilling family secrets at work? Hi everyone. I, female 28, am the founder and CEO of a small tech company that I've poured my heart into over the past 5 years. 6 months ago, my younger sister, female 24, lost her job due to downsizing. Despite our rocky relationship, we're polar opposites, I decided to hire her. I'm introverted and value privacy. She's extroverted and often speaks without thinking. Initially, things went smoothly. She brought enthusiasm to the team, and I was hopeful this could strengthen our sisterly bond. However, I began noticing colleagues giving me odd looks and whispering when I wasn't around. During a team lunch, one employee casually mentioned a deeply personal family incident, joking about it as if it were common knowledge. I was stunned. I pulled my sister aside and asked if she'd been sharing personal family stories. She admitted she had, saying it helped her connect with others and that it was no big deal. I stressed that our family's history is private and that discussing it at work was unprofessional. She brushed me off, calling me overly sensitive. A couple of weeks later, I discovered she'd told several employees about our parents' tumultuous divorce and even shared that our mother had struggled with substance abuse, a painful chapter we've worked hard to move past. This wasn't just embarrassing, it felt like a profound betrayal. I confronted her again, but she accused me of trying to control her and said I was letting my CEO status go to my head. Realizing that this was jeopardizing not only my reputation but also the company's culture, I made the difficult decision to terminate her employment for breaching confidentiality and unprofessional conduct. She was furious, accusing me of choosing work over family and vowing to never forgive me. Our parents are now involved and believe I overreacted. They think I should have been more understanding and given her another chance. This whole situation has left me questioning myself. I feel guilty for firing her, but also feel that I had to protect my company and personal boundaries. So Reddit, am I the idiot for firing my sister after she exposed our family's darkest secrets at work? Now for some comments. Cyclone11, are you sure your sister lost her previous job to downsizing? Sometimes that is the excuse used to get rid of troublesome employees. Either way, not the idiot. No one can survive the blatant hits to the companies and your reputation and have it end well. Case of Fafo, for sure. Lupi Mercutio. Not the idiot, you didn't choose work over family at all. She chose to divulge personal, private information that could damage your reputation and your company's reputation. You chose to get rid of a problematic employee, period. And you did give her warning. Tlalak995 exactly this. I got my sister a job at my place of employment. I'm a nurse. I recommended her for a unit secretary job. All her prior experience was working at McDonald's. And they hired her. She did the exact same thing and destroyed the reputation I worked a decade to build. I now haven't spoken to her in a decade, and it was the best decision I ever made to cut her off. She was an absolute boundary stomper. Good job, and not the idiot. Long Charity 3096. I've gone out on a limb for people and had them burn me like that. I basically no longer do this unless I very strongly feel someone is a good hire, because you're basically attaching your reputation to theirs. Now for the update, a few hours later. I reached out to a friend who still works at the company where my sister was previously employed. He confirmed that she was indeed fired, but not just because of the downsizing she mentioned. According to him, she had a knack for orchestrating gossip and creating conflicts among coworkers. She would spread rumors and stir up drama, which led to a toxic work environment and decreased team morale. Her behavior was disruptive enough that the company decided to let her go to preserve the integrity and productivity of the workplace. Hearing this from someone who was there really reinforces my decision to terminate her employment at my company. It seems her pattern of behavior has consistently caused problems wherever she goes, and I had to prioritize the well-being of my team. Thank you all for your continued support and understanding as I navigate this difficult situation. Now for another update a few hours later. Hi everyone, I wanted to share an update on the situation with my sister. I recently had a detailed conversation with my parents about the rumors she was spreading at work, especially regarding her substance abuse and our parents' divorce. I explained how her behavior was disrupting the workplace and shared the specific complaints from employees who felt uncomfortable. Additionally, I informed them about what a friend who still works at her previous company told me, that she was fired for orchestrating gossip and creating conflict among coworkers. My parents are now very angry with her for sharing our family's private matters and for causing turmoil in my company. They also apologized to me for not recognizing the severity of her actions sooner and for any additional stress this has caused our family. Having their support has been a huge relief and reinforces that I made the right decision to prioritize my business and team. Thank you all for your continued support and understanding during this difficult time. Now for a few more comments. Zealous Adil Low 2146. At first I thought everyone sucks here, but after reading the updates, not the idiot. You said she shared about both your parents' divorce and then the mother's substance abuse. You guys share parents. Your trauma with your parents is also hers. So saying she can't talk about it at work is valid because it does make your employees think about you differently. But she does have the right to share that stuff as much as you do. Because again, it's also hers and yours shared trauma with both of your parents. Then I saw the updates, and knowing she has a history of doing this kind of stuff is not okay. You did right by firing her, because she could have potentially turned your employees against you. So not the idiot for firing her. Am I the idiot for refusing to prioritize my husband's sister over honoring my deceased aunt's memory? Hi everyone, I apologize if this post is all over the place as I am filled with a lot of emotions and anger. For some context, I, female 24, didn't have the best relationship with my parents. My mother and father divorced when I was extremely young. Needless to say, they weren't very good co-parents. My mom was an alcoholic and my father did drugs. My aunt, who wasn't my aunt by blood, but was my grandma's best friend, took care of me most of the time when I would have to stay with my father. She would constantly make me feel loved and taken care of. She would always have fun activities planned for us to do together, such as making bead bracelets and bead art, making other jewelry, and painting. I loved being with her because there was never a dull moment. When I was in 5th grade, my mom got clean and got full custody over me. We ended up moving towns, and I never really saw my father again. It got extremely difficult to see my aunt, but as I got older and could drive, I started seeing her more again. Fast forward to 2021, my aunt passed away due to lung issues. I had not seen her in years because I was working and was dating my husband, male 25, in 2020. I felt extremely guilty that I hadn't seen her in so long. Once I was told about the disease, I immediately went to see her in hospice. I went and saw her twice, and the last day I saw her, she passed away holding my hand. I was extremely broken. My aunt's birthday is on September 15th. Ever since she passed away, I've always made her favorite flavored cake, sang happy birthday, and blown out candles for her. This is my way of showing appreciation and love for my aunt. But my husband's sister's, female 12, birthday is also on the same day. I love his sister and always spend the majority of the day with her. At the end of the night, I do go home to bake the cake for my aunt. This makes my husband furious. Anytime I ask him if he would like to join me, he always angrily declines and says his sister is more important. I totally understand and leave by myself. He sent me a text saying, "I'm not coming home tonight," and I respond, "I love you, be safe." I wake up this morning to see all of his stuff from the apartment gone, along with a text saying, "You are extremely selfish, and leaving a 12-year-old on her birthday for a dead person isn't okay. I will be contacting a divorce lawyer." I immediately started crying as my husband knew how much my aunt's death impacted me. He also knew I would celebrate before even marrying me. I am more angry than sad right now that I let this man destroy my life over me wanting to bake a cake for my aunt. The relationship never had any huge issues, and yes, he would get annoyed every year, but it was never to this extent. Needless to say, it's only been a few hours, but I am okay with him wanting to divorce me, as I don't need to be with someone who can't accept me making a damn cake because I will not stop. Now for a few comments. Alarmed Links 7148 said, "Yeah, that's not a partner you want. Anyone who acts like this towards something or someone or anything their partner deems as important to them should not be in a relationship. Something is wrong with him, and he's doing you a favor. Also, if he retracts this, the divorce part, you have some serious thinking to do. Either take him up on the offer and do it yourself, or keep your eyes open because this is a crack in the foundation of your relationship." Iloria commented, "While I can understand not wanting to divert focus from his sister on her B-Day, he seems to lack empathy here. You are obviously still grieving your aunt, and you seem to be doing it in a respectful way. This feels like an I want an excuse to get divorced scenario. You seem better off without him. But I do hope that you have or are getting grief counseling." Penelope Shoots added, "Also, doesn't the 12-year-old prefer her friends? Does she really need her adult brother and sister-in-law with her all day?" Old Badger 3111 shared, "Speaking from experience, I am very close with my granddaughter, but she is now 14 and wants to be with her friends. I see so much less of her than even a year ago. Now when she plans things with me, it's can you and me and my friend so-and-so go to the mall or wherever. 2 years from now, when OP's husband's sister is 14 and wants to hang with friends, not weird, brother, he will regret his cruelty towards her. Brandy Snacker speculated. A thought I had was that might be his child, if he had her as a teen. Then OP replied, he would have been 13 when she was born. Plus, there are pictures of mother-in-law in the hospital after giving birth. Def, not his kid, lol. Now for the 3-day update. Hey everyone. First off, I want to thank everyone for their support and kind regards to me. I am going through an extremely emotional time right now. For some context to the first story, some people were saying I was prioritizing the dead over the living. This is not true. I work extremely early in the morning for work, so I'm usually in bed by 8:30 p.m. Depending on the day of the week my sister-in-law's birthday lands on, I go straight to her after work, or if I'm not working, then early in the morning. Even on days we are just visiting my husband's family, we usually leave around 8 p.m. so I can get home and get ready for work. His family lives not even 5 minutes away from us. Whenever I make the cake for my aunt on her birthday, I still leave at 8 p.m. and just go to bed a little later. I do not prioritize my aunt over my sister-in-law. I also have gone to grief counseling, as it's always been hard for me to process a loss. My counselor was the one who made the recommendation to do a nice contribution to her every now and then. So for everyone saying the way I'm coping is unhealthy and a ritual, thanks, but I'd rather listen to the professional. Now on to the update. After I posted the original post, I contacted a family friend who is a divorce attorney. After a few hours after the text from Raiden, husband's name, I decided to text him back. I understand. I have hired a divorce attorney. This clearly made him shoot his pants, as not even 5 minutes later, he came back home. He started saying he was just drunk and didn't know what he was talking about. I didn't say a word. He kept saying he was sorry and he didn't mean it. I told him to go back to his parents' house. He kept begging as he left. He then started blowing up my phone with the same apology. After about 20 minutes, I received a call from his mother. His mom loves what I do for my aunt and has asked to join me a few years ago. She called me saying she just had a conversation with her son and wants to know why I'm leaving him because he didn't join me in making the cake. I just started laughing and sent her the screenshots of his texts last night. He tried to lie and say I was the one wanting a divorce. His mom was extremely shocked and said she will call me later. Around an hour later, his mom came knocking on my door. She gave me a hug and said she was sorry. I let her in and gave her a cup of coffee. We sat down and she told me that after she confronted Raiden after seeing the texts, he started saying that he gets angry when I celebrate because I don't need my family since we have his. I do not talk to my mom that often, but when I do, he gets extremely defensive and insecure about it. Now I know why. He also told her that he threatened to divorce me as a way for me to say, I'll stop celebrating my aunt's birthday. His mom also told me she respects my decision to get a divorce attorney, but that she will always love me like a daughter and will always be there for me if needed. I am going through with the divorce and am working closely with my lawyer. This will be the final post I make about this situation and appreciate everyone for supporting me. Thank you all. Now for a few comments. First commenter, ditch the husband, keep the mother-in-law. OP replied, I love mother-in-law so much and will definitely stay in touch with her. Another commenter said, MIL for the win, keep in touch with her and divorce his toxic butt. He was trying to isolate you.